This is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we're going to show you guys how to make a vegetable juice in the vacuum blender so you can now vacuum juice. Vacuum juicing allows you to juice without all the oxygenation caused during the grinding process. In a high-speed juicer, it oxidizes the produce the most, which means you will lower some of those oxygen-sensitive nutrients, such as oxygen-sensitive vitamins, and more importantly, to me, some of the polyphenols that have been shown to be quite beneficial for our health. Now, here's the thing. I was never a fan of traditional blending without a vacuum and then using a nut milk bag to strain it out, right? That is the worst way to juice, because you literally create a vortex, a funnel vortex in the middle of your blended mixture that's bombarding things with air, imparting more oxygen into the blended mixture, so more dissolved oxygen, oxidizing some of those valuable phytonutrients and oxygen-sensitive vitamins. So that was like off the table. Like, I just don't make juices in a traditional blender, and so I was so focused on slow juicing, and I've been selling slow juicers online now for over 20 years, and it took Tom Dixon from Will It Blend fame to literally open my eyes about vacuum juicing, because I visited Tom at the Blend Tech factory and I juiced in a slow juicer, and then I made the same celery juice in a vacuum blender and then strained it out with his very own Alexas nut milk bags. And I tasted the difference, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's a big difference in vacuum juicing that now I need to share with people. I'm not going to try to hide the fact that vacuum juicing is superior to traditional juicing in some ways. Of course, you're going to get the highest yield and the most amount of polyphenols and oxygen-sensitive phytonutrients, as well as deeper, darker, richer juices that taste better with less produce waste. If you're buying expensive produce, that can be quite important to you. But at the same time, you know, it's not the best, because there is some work involved. You're gonna get your hands dirty. You got to do some wringing, and every recipe that you might find in a juicing book may not work for vacuum juicing. You need to have a properly designed recipe, and that's what I'm gonna get into in this episode. I already have a video, links down below in the description, for how you can make a green juice in a vacuum blender. Also links down below how you can make a fruit juice in the vacuum blender, and fruit juicing is the best made in a vacuum blender to do the juicing extraction, in my personal opinion. And this video will talk more about a general juice that contains more hard root vegetables. Root vegetables are the most difficult thing to process in a vacuum blender. You need to have enough water content produce, including watery fruits or watery vegetables, to get your blender to work properly. Of course, another thing you can do is you can add water in with your carrots, for example. So put a bunch of water, then just put some carrots, and then blend that up, because the blender absolutely needs some water content to work, that you could get from the produce, which is my personal preference, or you can add in separately. Another thing that I thought of the other day is you could actually, if you want to juice carrots, you could buy some pasteurized carrot juice, put that in the blender, and then chop up fresh carrots and put that in the blender, and then blend that up. So now you have a mixture of the carrot juice from the store, which serves as your liquid, so that you can now blend up your solid carrots, and you have like the best of both worlds, because you have some heat pasteurized juice, which some people may feel is better, because when you heat certain carotenoids and nutrients, you might get a better uptake and they convert and all this stuff, especially with lycopene in tomatoes. Some of you guys, purists, might not like that. So, in this episode, I'm going to show you guys how you could juice successfully some of those root vegetables. So now I want to share with you guys why I believe vacuum juicing makes a higher quality juice than even a slow juicer. There's two primary reasons, in my opinion. Number one is because the blender does a much better job at breaking open cell walls and creating a smaller particle size than any juicer that I've experienced in the past. A lot of juicers have grinders that the produce goes in, it gets ground up and it comes out, whether that's a slow process or more of a high-speed process. And some grinders on juicers are more effective than others. For example, the Pure grinder is probably one of the best grinders out there, but still the Pure grinder is no match to a blade that's spinning around that's hitting the produce multiple times, multiple cycles, whereas the produce goes in there, it gets ground up, it comes right out. The particle size is larger. So when you break open the cell walls and release those nutrients and things are broken down to a finer particle size, I believe you get a higher nutrient quality. Now, if it was just that alone, it would be a higher nutrient quality than combined with a lesser nutrient quality because you don't have the oxygen sucked out of the carafe. That's the other super huge benefit that vacuum juicing has over traditional juicing that's just done in atmospheric pressure, right? When I use a vacuum pump and suck out all the excess oxygen out of the carafe, I'm taking it to like 20 inches of mercury approximately, depending on the vacuum pump you're using. You are excluding a lot of the excess oxygen that would normally be in there that would then bombard cell walls during the time it's being broken open to release them into the mixture. And then of course you take that mixture, you put it through Alexas nut milk bag, which is a BPA, certified BPA safe, has a 1-year replacement guarantee on it, and which has a nice pore size, a nice large area, and really makes squeezing out the juice super simple, super easy, so that you do not need to buy a $400, hydraulic jack press that you jack up. Hydraulic jack press may work if you have larger particle sizes, but when you have such a fine, small particle size like we're gonna make today in the driest vacuum blender, your hands do the best job at squeezing. Of course, some of you guys might have arthritis or don't have strong hands. Then I'm gonna have some tips for you guys on how to do this, but then you might not even wanna consider this technology to do your juicing. And that's fine. Different strokes for different folks is what my dad taught me. And I'll put a link down below to a video. Best juicers of 2022, including, the Dynapro vacuum juicing is one of the best juicers for 2022, along with some other juicers that are out there. So take a look at that video to see which one may be best for you. Also, very important, once again, like I mentioned, not every recipe is conducive to vacuum juicing. So with that, let's go over today's recipe that I'll be making. So I always encourage you guys to juice your greens. So today I have fresh picked arugula right out of my garden. And that's another reason why I like vacuum juicing, is when I grow my own homegrown produce and I don't have tons of it to eat, I want to extract every possible nutrient out of this, including all the different trace minerals that I add into my soil that are absorbed through the plant and put into a plant available form for me, as well as all the different anti-cancer properties. And the vacuum juicing will get the pulp the driest, up to 92% yield when juicing in this method, which is completely amazing, which blows away other juicers for the most part. So we got a whole bunch of arugula there. Next we have 6 stalks of organic celery. It's very important to have some kind of watery vegetable. Once again, it could be celery, could be tomatoes, even zucchini, bell peppers, or tomatoes. Of course, you could also use fruits if you're doing fruits in your recipe, although some people don't like to juice fruits because of their, sugar content, and once again, each person's different. You got to find out what works for you. Next watery fruit we're going to use is cucumber. Optimally I maybe should use 2 cucumbers, but today I only have 1. So instead of another cucumber, I'm going to use a zucchini. Cucumbers are a little bit more waterier and blend a little bit better than zucchini because the texture of the zucchini is not optimal. Zucchinis don't traditionally juice that well in a traditional juicer, but under vacuum juicing, it works amazing. So we got 1 cucumber, 1 zucchini. And then now, of course, we got 4 carrots that we're going to juice in the vacuum juicer. And then we got 1 large beet. Each one of these different produce items contain different amounts of different nutrients, as well as different fibers, including soluble fiber and insoluble fiber, the 2 main categories of fiber. When we are juicing, we're going to keep that soluble fiber and remove the majority of the insoluble fiber, leaving hardly any fiber. But the most important thing is that juicing will break open the cell walls and, in my opinion, do a much better job at extracting those phytonutrients, vitamins and minerals so that our bodies could more easily absorb them. I believe this can be very important, especially if you have not been eating a healthy diet for so long and your body is not used to getting a lot of roughage in you. This is why I love juicing and I will never stop. So with that, let's go ahead and get into this recipe. So what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and time this whole process for you guys so you guys can see exactly how long it takes from start to finish. So we're going to go ahead and hit the start button, and what we want to do is we want to process the watery ingredients first. The most watery in here today is the cucumber, so we're going to go ahead and cut this cucumber in half and then cut it in half again, so we basically cut it into fourths lengthwise, and then we're just going to go around and we're going to slice it into smaller pieces. Now the smaller pieces you slice, the more you'll be able to fit into the blender, so you can blend up more in one round. If you leave nice large chunks, the blender's not going to work as well, and you're not going to be able to fit as much produce into the processing chamber. And we got to take off the lid there on the blender there. So all our chopped cucumbers going in first. Next, we're going to go ahead and process that zucchini. So once again, slice it the long way, slice it the long way. Then I basically just go down and slice it up into little pieces. You know, optimally maybe 1/8 inch pieces. But you know, I'm just gonna probably pretty much do 1/4 inch pieces because I don't want to sit here and take all day to pre-cut stuff myself. All right. After that, the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and put our celery, which I would consider a watery vegetable because it's pretty watery compared to the fiber. Once again, you know, the cool thing about fruits and vegetables is that most of them contains over like 90% water. You know, aside from like bananas that are low water content, but most fruits and vegetables are like 90 to 95% water. That's why watermelon is the easiest thing to juice with vacuum blending because it's so much water. All right, so let's go ahead and end up cutting the rest of this celery up. You guys can see, just slice up the celery. We're already in at 1.5 minutes. And if we just add in this celery into the blender, as you guys can see, we're pretty much like almost halfway full. Or actually more than halfway full, filling the blender up. So if you just fill it in loose, I like to then tap this down a little bit on the bottom, shake it up a little bit to see if we can get this to kind of, you know, go down a little bit and like lose some of the spaces in between. Next, we're gonna go ahead and process our greens. So I usually just do a nice tear. And then I'll basically slice these up just like I sliced up the celery into like 1/8 inch pieces. And that's one of the downsides of vacuum juicing is that you will need to pre-cut your produce into smaller pieces unless you have enough liquid in there. Let's go ahead and add this into the vacuum blender. All right, next I think we're going to go ahead and add that beet in there. I'm going to cut that beet up and then slice it into pieces. Pretty much kind of like I'm cubing it up to make it easier for the blender to process. All right, now we can just throw this beet on top. That'll help weigh down the greens. And now let's see if we can even fit our carrots in there. We're getting kind of full. All right, finally, let's go ahead and cut the carrots into carrot rounds. All right. Got the carrots all cut up. We're already like 4 minutes in. We haven't even started processing the food yet. And our blender craft is like literally overflowed with produce. So let's see if we can get this lid on. All right, the lid fits. All right, let's go ahead and now suck a vacuum. The vacuum process probably takes about 60 seconds to 1.5 minute to 1.5 minutes. Shut off. We'll carefully, I think we're gonna go ahead and start this blender up, and so I will go ahead and hit the pulse button once and the blend button twice. So it just got done blending. Now we're gonna go ahead and take this off, and we're gonna go ahead and let the air back in. And because we have a nice big carafe, I'm not gonna dump everything in. It's gonna make it harder to process when we squeeze it. So I'm probably gonna put about half. So I'm gonna take a visual note And we're going to pour about half the mixture there. Now it's pretty close to half. Next, we're just going to go ahead and squeeze all this out. I think we got the majority of the juice out that time. And we'll like always just shake this down a little bit. Let's go ahead and just drop the pulp out. I usually like to flick this a little bit and try to get any last pulp that's stuck. Let's go ahead and take our jar here and see how much juice we made in this pressing. Alright, 2 cups. Like 2 1/4 cups of juice so far. And now the cool thing, I want you guys to notice this. Try to be fast because I don't want to like run the clock up too much. But look at the color of this stuff here, right? See how dark that is? And look at the color of this stuff here, right? This is why vacuum juicing is superior, because we literally took all the deep, rich pigments out of the pulp and now put it into the glass. You guys see that? See the different colors there? That's why I love vacuum juicing, because it grinds so well and it does it in an oxygen-deprived environment. It is completely amazing. So that was the first half. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and squeegee out the rest of the pulp out of the carafe. All right, here's the thing. I just got all this pulp out, and here's the thing. Like, so many people online would say, like, juicing's bad because you're removing some of the fiber. Yes, you're removing some of the fiber, not all the fiber. You're removing the insoluble fiber. But the thing you're gaining. Like, surely, if you want to juice, you could just drink this mixture here with the pulp and all. To me, that would not taste good because there'd be too much fiber in it, right? But you could do that if you wanted. But for me, I want to concentrate those valuable soluble fibers, including the phytonutrients that will feed my microbiome, including the polyphenols, so I'll get better uptake. Anyways, stop chatting and let's go ahead and squeeze out the rest of this juice here. I think I got all the juice that I'm going to get out of that. Let's go ahead and pour this into our jar here. Alright, so that's probably about 1 quart there. And then we still have at least 2 cups left of juice. And we're in at about 14 minutes to make this juice. Of course, another juicer would be quicker than this. But what you're going to get with this is the driest pulp. So that's going to save you money. You're also going to get the highest nutrient quality. Also some nice, deep, rich, colored, pigmented hands. And our skin can absorb nutrients, right? That's why they do facial masks. Maybe you could rub all this over your face. When you're done, let it soak in. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and try this juice to see what it tastes like. To me, put the Alexas nut milk bag. It's a nice fine texture, like really smooth. This is actually quite a good recipe. I'm not tasting too much arugula in there. It's just a nice solid vegetable juice. You guys can drink for your health. If you guys enjoyed this episode, like my episodes, I would encourage you guys to support my work by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. Nobody else online is teaching you guys about the power of vacuum juicing that you could now do thanks to vacuum blenders such as the Dynapro 2250, which is the best one we sell at Discount Juicers right now, along with Alexas nut milk bags available at alexasbags.com. When you purchase your nut milk bag from Alexas Bags, they share with me a small commission so that I can continue my work to share with you guys the benefits of vacuum juicing and their amazing bags. So I want to thank you guys who decide to purchase from me or Alexas Bags so that I could continue my work to educate the world about the power of fruits and vegetables and how to get the maximum extraction out of them, and then you can get them into you so you could have a greater health benefit. Now, another thing I want to say is that vacuum juicing is not for everybody. If you don't want to get your hands dirty, if you don't want to take excess time to juice and you want to be done a lot faster and the quality is not as important to you, you will definitely want to get a different style juicer. For those of you guys that have more time on your hands, I want to get the highest quality juice and the most yield because you're expending a lot of money on produce, then the vacuum juicing is for you. So once again, I sell all different kinds of juicers. I'm not gonna, I have my own personal favorites. I use vacuum juicing when I'm processing things like ginger and turmeric and pomegranate to get the highest amount of polyphenols and nutrients and yield out of those more expensive products. But at the same time, I'll use the Nama J2 juicer when I'm processing, 5 quarts of green juice. Doing it in this method, would take me all day, and I'm not about to commit the time to that. But when I'm processing things, especially like pomegranates, turmeric, and ginger, and even ginseng, that's like $40 a pound, I'm gonna take the time to do it right in the vacuum blender so I can vacuum juice. So that's what I want to show with you guys, right? There's so many different options out there, and I make all these videos so that I can expose you to the different options, because some people won't even share with you guys vacuum juicing options because they don't even know about it. Most people don't know about vacuum juicing, so consider yourselves lucky that you guys sat through this video, and I appreciate you guys who did sit through this video. If you guys want to help me out, hey, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. That helps the YouTube algorithm to spread this message out to other people on YouTube. Also, be sure to share this video with somebody else you think it could help. Other juicers, other people in juicer forums, people that are making celery juice. Right, I have videos on how to make celery juice in this machine, and I compare it against a $2,500 juicer. Links down below in the description for that. Be sure to check my other videos on vacuum juicing, where I get into the nitty-gritty and share with you guys how to do it, because it is something new and unique and different than anything that has come before. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes that are coming out in every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning, what new appliances I'll be testing on my YouTube channel, and make sure you click the little bells to get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. The past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 600 episodes at this time on this YouTube channel dedicated to teach you guys all about how to process your fruits and vegetables and get them into you so you could get greater nutrition and the health benefits you deserve. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors.